The silence after the last scream is worse than the screaming. She counts the echoes as they die. 3 men, 3 diminishing cries, each one swallowed by the forest like a stone dropped into still water. Then nothing. Not even the wind. Not even her own breathing, which has become so shallow she can no longer be certain she is alive. Her legs give way. She does not fall so much as fold, her knees meeting the earth slowly, like a woman in prayer. The beads at her waist settle and go quiet. The forest floor is cool beneath her, damped with decades of rot and fallen things, and she presses her palms into it and feels, against all reason, something like relief. The presence returns without announcement. There is no wind this time, no theatrical gust to announce its arrival. It simply is, the way darkness is, not arriving, not departing, only deepening. The temperature drops a degree, then another. She lifts her head. Something stands at the edge of the clearing. She cannot say what it looks like, because looking is not quite the right word for what she is doing. She is perceiving it, the way one perceives grief, not with the eyes, but with the whole hollow architecture of the chest. It is tall, or suggests tallness. It is dark, or suggests darkness. It has the quality of a shadow that exists even when there is no light to cast it. And it is watching her. "You did not run," it says. The voice does not come from the direction she is looking. It comes from everywhere the forest is, from the groaning of roots deep underground, from the slow respiration of the canopy above, from the space between one heartbeat and the next. She should be more afraid. She notes clinically that she is not. "Where would I run?" she says. A pause, long enough that she wonders if she has imagined the voice entirely. Then, and this is the most frightening thing yet, something that is almost a sound passes through the clearing. She does not realize until several seconds later that it has been laughter. "The others ran," it says. The others had something to go back to. Another silence. This one feels different, considered rather than empty. She becomes aware that she is being assessed with an attention more thorough than any human gaze she has ever endured. It moves over her like water finding the shape of a vessel. She feels it trace her history, of her. The husband dead on his first morning as her husband, his family screaming accusation, the trial that was not a trial, the priest's sentence that was not a sentence, but an execution made respectable by ceremony. It finds her grief and her rage and the cold, quiet place she has constructed beneath both, where she has been living for the past 2 days, surviving. "You are not afraid of me," it says. It does not sound pleased. It does not sound displeased. It sounds precise, the way a physician sounds when confirming a diagnosis. "I was," she admits, "before." She looks down at her wrists. "But you had 8 of them, and you chose to take the 8. You could have taken me with the first wind." She pauses. "You did not." The darkness at the edge of the clearing shifts, draws nearer, not moving so much as condensing, the way a storm gathers itself before breaking. "Why," it says slowly, "do you think that is?" She thinks about lying. She is good at lying, had learned it young in a house where the truth was a luxury. But something tells her that lies would dissolve here the way morning mist dissolves, quickly, completely, leaving nothing behind. "Because I am a woman, I think," she says. The laughter that follows is not like the first. The first had been almost a sound. This is a sound, vast and directionless and wrong. the kind of laughter that carries no memory of warmth, that has perhaps never known warmth, that finds the very concept of warmth faintly ridiculous. It shakes the clearing the way a great weight shakes the ground when it falls, not a vibration, but a displacement, as though the air itself is being rearranged. And then the forest joins. That is what breaks her. The trees groan with it, deep and resonant, their trunks shuddering. The canopy convulses, leaves tearing loose in their hundreds, spinning down through the darkness like black snow. The roots beneath her feet seem to writhe. Every living and half-living thing in Ozala takes up that terrible sound, not as echo, but as chorus, the whole forest laughing at something she has said, or at her, or at the fragile reasoning of the small creature standing in its belly, believing it has understood anything at all. The calm she has so carefully assembled, the cold, quiet place she retreated to when the grief became too large, comes apart like wet cloth. She takes a step back, then another. Her breath, steady until now, begins to fracture. Her hands find each other and grip hard, the way they had gripped during the trial, during the sentencing, during the long walk into this forest, the only comfort available when there is no one left to hold you. The laughter fades, the forest stills, the leaves settle, and the silence that follows is the worst thing yet, because in it she understands, with a cold and absolute clarity, that the answer she gave meant nothing to it. It has not spared her out of sympathy or kinship or any recognition of her suffering, not because she is a woman, not because she is brave or broken, or because her grief has moved it. It has spared her, and it does not know why. That, more than the screams of the men, more than the vanishings, more than the vast inhuman laughter of a forest alive with something ancient and without mercy, that is what makes her truly afraid. An evil that knows its reasons can be reasoned with. This one cannot. "Who are you?" she dares to ask. "What are you?" would have made better sense, she thinks, after the words have already left her mouth. The answer, when it comes, is a single word: Ikuku. Thunder splits the heavens the moment the name lands, not before, not after, but with it, as though the sky itself moves to acknowledge what has been spoken. The sound rolls through the canopy and down into the earth and does not fully stop, only retreats like a wave pulling back from shore. And then, as if the name alone is insufficient, I am what was here before the first tree, before the first man who named the first tree. I am what the forest remembers when it remembers being afraid of nothing. The fear that takes her now is nothing like what she has felt before. What came before was fear of death, of darkness, of the unknown. This is different. This is the fear of having looked directly at the thing beyond all other things and finding that it has looked back. It does not paralyze her slowly. It crashes through her all at once, every nerve lit, her body screaming at her to run, while her legs refuse to remember how. She has heard that name before. Every child has. It is the name mothers lower their voices to say when the little ones will not sleep. Ikuku will come, spoken the way one speaks of floods and famine, things that do not need embellishment, because the truth of them is already terrible enough. She had thought it a story, the kind told under moonlight that loses its power in the morning, a legend stitched together from old fears and older losses to explain what the living cannot bring themselves to understand. She had been wrong. This is no legend. It is the thing the legend was made from. They had walked into its territory, all of them, priest and machete man alike, and whether they knew it or not had made no difference. Ikuku is not moved by ignorance. It does not negotiate. It does not leave traces of what it takes. It is the guardian of this forest, the way death is the guardian of the living, not protecting it from harm, but presiding over what happens here, claiming what enters and does not belong. The wind shifts, and it is gone. So this is where I end, she sobs, in the belly of Ozala, not so different from where I began. She had been born in a village that did not want her. The forest, it seemed, was simply more honest about it.